Hi, I'm Teiya Campbell. I'm your host, and this is The Way I See It, and we're going to get right into it. So, today's Thursday, and 2 days ago on Tuesday, Mitt Romney took Florida in the Republican primary. He doesn't have the nomination just yet, but it's looking really good for him. But hopefully Mitt Romney isn't the man that we're going to see get the Republican nomination, because riding the wave off of his Florida victory, he had an interview with Soledad O'Brien on CNN, and the controversial statement that he made is that he's not very concerned with the very poor or the very rich in this country. The reason why he's not concerned with the very poor is because they have a safety net, and the reason why he's not concerned with the very rich in this country is because they have they're doing just fine. And there's a couple of holes in his story when you really listen to it. If you listen, he implies that the very rich and the very poor together make up maybe 5 to 10% of this country. That's not true. The poor take up 15% alone. And that was just 2 years ago. It's on the rise now. 15.1% might not sound like a lot to you, but in real numbers, that's 42.6 million people in America that are below the poverty line. And poverty line doesn't necessarily just mean poor, because you can be above the poverty line and still barely making ends meet. These are the criteria that qualifies you to be considered poor in this country. If you're an individual making $11,139 a year, you're considered poor. But if you are in a family of at least 4, making $22,314, then you're still considered poor. But you could be somebody that makes $23,000 in this country and in a family of 4 and still not making it, but you're not considered poor in this country just because you make a few dollars more than somebody that might live in the same neighborhood as you. It's not really fair. It's not really accurate. So for him to even say that they don't take up much of this country when they take up more than they do, it's really unfair for him to say. And while we're talking about that, it's not right for him to say that he's not concerned about anybody in this country, if it's only one American in this country that's poor and one American in this country that's very rich. You can't say that you're not concerned about anybody in your country. You want to be the president of this whole entire land and you don't care about anybody in here in this whole entire country. That's completely unacceptable. So, you know, it's crazy that he didn't even know the numbers, but for him to even say that he wasn't concerned concerns me. And, you know, to poke more holes in the story, he says that, the poor have a safety net. And he says the safety net means the social programs that we have going on to help the poor, such as welfare, Section 8, stuff like that. But in his tax plan, he says that for the poor, what he's going to do for the poor, you lucky citizens, he's going to cut your Medicaid by $153 billion by 2016. He said he'll cut food stamps by $10 million by 2016. He's going to cut programs that help your children by $946 billion by 2021. Programs to help your children such as Head Start, such as WIC, he's going to cut them for you. How lucky are you? So he says that he's not concerned about the very rich in this country either, because they're doing just fine. And I bet they are. Since 1980, they've seen almost 50% increases in their income, while the middle class has only seen 11%. And also, while 60% of families in this country that makes less than $100,000 a year has seen no type of increases in their income, and many of them have seen drops in their income since then. So, I don't know, maybe if you have, a couple tens of millions in your bank account, maybe that doesn't concern you. But when you're talking to 46.2 million Americans, I don't know, maybe you should be concerned, because it makes you wonder, who is he talking to? I got the numbers. I'm going to tell you who he's talking to. The poorest region in this country is the South, coming in at 16.9% below the poverty line. The poorest race in America, and this might be a big shocker, is black people, 27.4%. The poorest type of family in this country, this is another shocker, single mothers, the highest rate out there, 31.6% falling below the poverty line. And see, these aren't the only groups. We have the Hispanic population right after the black at 26.6%, Asians at 12.1%, and the white at the very lowest, which is another big shocker, at 9.9%. So he's talking to mostly Southern black single parents out there. That's who he's talking to. Next, he's talking to Southern Hispanics, single fathers, who come in at 15.8% underneath the poverty line. So that's something to be concerned about. How can you sit in these people's faces and tell them that you don't care about their livelihood? One person struggling to feed their kid is unacceptable. That's one person too many. And you would get on TV and say that you're not concerned at all? You're not concerned at all? His tax plan plans on rewarding the very rich for outsourcing jobs, for bringing in a certain amount of money. You get tax cuts for that. Businesses that don't give jobs to Americans but save money by giving them to other countries, they get tax cuts for that. What does his tax plan do for the lower class? Absolutely nothing. What does it do for the middle class, the heart of this country? Absolutely nothing. And one of the things that people always say, it's not a Republican thing, it's not a Democratic thing, but I disagree with that. I think that it's a Republican thing. I really do, because this is how Republicans see America. It's called the pie parable. If America was a pie, Republicans would be more concerned with making the pie as big as possible. Nobody's disagreeing with that. We want to be the world leader economically. But, on the Democratic side, they believe in making the pie cut more equally. And, that's kind of where I fall in, because the way I see it is you can't expect to make the pie bigger for America, just a few Americans. You know what I mean? It's like if everybody doesn't get a piece of the pie, how are you making it bigger? It's like if you were at a party and there wasn't enough juice to go around. Everybody shouldn't get a second cup of juice before everybody gets at least one, right? That's how it is. And in America, the cups are so high that some people can't even reach them to go get something to drink if they wanted to. And the people that can't reach them, they're not trying hard enough to reach them. They're too lazy to do it. I feel like America should be on an even playing field so all of us can be able to get cups, and that all of us should be able to get in line. And if we get in line and wait just like the rest of us, we should get the same amount of juice as the next person. Don't you think? We'll be back after these messages.
Need answers to life's questions? Feel like you're going in the wrong direction? Find the path that's right for you at Right Direction Church International, a growing, vibrant church that's helping people on life's journey, one step at a time. Experience vibrant praise and worship and get a practical word that will change your life forever. Come meet students just like you, get a free meal once a month, and free transportation to church. Join us at 990 Willington Drive on Sundays at 11 a.m. and Tuesday night Bible study at 7 p.m. For more information, log on to rightdirection.info or call 803-531-7322. You can even connect with us on Twitter at RIGHTDIR or like us on Facebook. See you soon.
Welcome back to The Way I See It. We're going to get right into our next topic, which is Janet Howell, a Virginia state senator, a Democrat, who had a pretty hilarious episode with her Republican counterparts this week in Virginia Congress. Basically, the original bill was that women can't get abortions without having to go through a series of unnecessary tests, such as ultrasound, stuff like that, in order to get the abortion. Now, these are procedures that women never had to go through before. And to protest the bill, she put together a law that said that in order for men to get medicine and treatment for erectile dysfunction, they had to go through a series of rectal exams and cardiac stress tests. Now, those are not really necessary to diagnose and treat a man with ED. And erectile dysfunction is basically when a man can't get it up for sex, limp noodle syndrome. And, she basically just added that on to the end of the bill just to protest, these laws being put on abortion. Because the way she sees it is that, these laws were being put into place to stop women from getting abortion. And, abortion isn't illegal. So you shouldn't be able to put laws on something just to stop people from doing it just because you don't believe in it. So that's what she did. And I thought it was funny. Now, her quote was that that Virginia needs some gender equality here. The Senate is about to pass a bill that will require a woman to have a totally unnecessary medical procedure at her cost and her inconvenience. If we're going to do that to women, why not do that to men? She's right. She's right. If we're going to do that to women and let the government probe into our nether regions without our permission, we should do that to men too. It's fair. It's only fair, right? Not really. I thought about it, and these two bodies of Congress, they had a disagreement. And instead of getting on the floor like adults, college-educated adults, and coming to a conclusion, a compromise, something like grown people, they decide to make these childish, silly, petty laws against each other to, basically manipulate one another. And it's crazy because these are our lives they playing with. These are laws that they playing with. Now, her law didn't go through, but only by 2 votes. If 2 more people would have raised their hand, that would have been a law in Virginia for a man to get a rectal exam in order to get treatment for a legitimate medical condition, just because somebody thought that it'd be funny to put that on the end of a bill that they didn't agree with. That's not fair. It's not funny. Like, we might laugh about it. I might laugh about it a whole lot, but I don't think that the man in Virginia with erectile dysfunction thinks it's very funny. And it's like, how can they, not just it's just Virginia right now, but hey, who says that California won't be next? Illinois won't be next. South Carolina won't be next. Who says that, the floor in Congress, our national Congress, won't be next to do stuff like that? 1 minute it's our rectums, the next it's our wallet. They shouldn't have that much control. And for what? For what? To one-up each other? To walk past each other in the restroom and say, I got him. These are our lives that they playing with, and we're letting them. But I'm going to let that go because, the abortion argument is one for another day. I don't feel like arguing with people to convince them that I'm right. So I'm not going to go into that. But I do want to talk to the college students out there. I write for my college newspaper, The Collegian, at South Carolina State University. This past issue, I got all of page 5 to myself. So if you're ever on our campus, you need to come get it. But I wrote an article called College and Politics. And basically, I'm not going to read it to you, even though it's a really good article. You can visit www.thecollegianscsu.com and you can get the paper offline. But this week, I got all of page 5 to myself. That's News and World. See, that's all me. But I wrote a story called College and Politics, and basically it's trying to convince college people that, your vote isn't obsolete. Because I talk to people, people my age, my peers, about politics, and they don't seem to care. And one of the things that they say that gets on my nerves, I hate when people say this to me, oh, my vote doesn't matter anyway. Let me remind you that college people are the ones that played a very significant role in putting Barack Obama in office. So when you say that, if every college student thought like you, we probably wouldn't have the president that we have. We probably would have John McCain in office rotting away. So you need to take your vote seriously. It's a very big deal. And, I get a little bit angry because, you put so much energy into the stuff that doesn't matter. You can tell me who's sleeping with who on the Real Housewives of, what cities do they film on the Real Housewives? Hold on. I got it. Orange City, Florida. Whatever y'all kids is watching nowadays. Y'all know all about that, but you don't know nothing about politics. Now, look, let me tell you, Nunu, Nene, Nita, whoever, she can't do nothing for you. Can't do nothing for you. But these politicians that they have, sitting on TV, they are making decisions for you that affects you every single day. Every day. you don't go out and vote for Congress, but let me tell you, if the same college kids that went out and voted for Barack Obama would have went out and voted for his Congress, any of you that receive a Pell Grant, you would have got $200 extra each semester starting at fall 2010. And if you don't receive the Pell Grant, he wanted to extend the Pell Grant program so 1 million more students could get it. You might have been one of the students that got the Pell Grant, but you didn't go out and vote. You didn't go out and vote. And you said this, my vote doesn't matter. It don't matter, and you short $200. That's money the government owe you. Now, would you rather them spend it on some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you? Something that you don't even qualify for, tax cuts? What you getting a tax cut for? You ain't rich enough to get one. So, what you waiting on? I don't understand. And it's a lot. It's not really too much to it. You go, you spend a couple minutes of your day. It's a vote for you to pick who you want to run this country. Your commander-in-chief, the person that's in charge of all of the decisions that they basically control every asset of your life, your education, your work after education. Do you want to be sitting around in school not sure